To get an understanding on what the modern handyman is, we gotta look back. We gotta look back at what the handyman used to be. You know, where did the perception come from that handymen are trash? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing, right? Yeah, the handyman used to be considered unreliable, cheap. You know, they knew a little something. They knew a little something, not enough to really, enough to get by, enough to patch things up, and so they just get back to working again. How long is the repair gonna last? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, but you needed to fix and you got it fixed, right? It wasn't about the quality. It was not about the quality. It wasn't about the professionalism. It wasn't about none of that. A lot of people thought that the reason somebody was a handyman is because they couldn't get a real trade, whatever that means. I don't know. They were unlicensed, no insurance, the whole non-smoking and put the truck with the beer cans in it, no, all that. But that's no longer the case. I tell people like this, what I consider a handyman is essentially a contractor who just hires himself to do all the work, or most of the work, or however you want to figure it out. Not everybody does the same kind of work. That's the beauty of it. Everybody, you kind of get to pick your own lane. You have some specialists. You have people that were in other trades that maybe retired or left that trade because they wanted to add more things to it, right? I mean, it's multifaceted. It's the person who is like the modern handyman is a phenom. You know what I'm saying? They're phenomenal. Just it's a conglomerate. It's a conglomerate of all these different trades into one man. I mean, one Superman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, for real though. Now, before I start getting all the hate from other people in different trades, the thing is, it's just because I gotta support my kind. You know what I'm saying? I gotta support my brethren in the handyman business. Doesn't mean I'm saying yours is bad. I don't, whatever you do is what you do. That's fine. But we're gonna go into what makes a modern handyman different than everybody else, and kind of ties into why I go so hard on professionalism. So, let's get into it. Now, I know a lot of us around here change the perception of what a handyman has been over time. I've heard plenty of people in other trades. It doesn't matter if it's plumbing or electrical or HVAC or tile professionals or drywall guys or masons and landscapers, and I don't care what trade you're in, what profession you're in, painters. I've heard negative stuff from everybody referring to the handyman. And I get it. I get it. I get historically what the perceived understanding of what a handyman has been. But man, we come a long way. Now, the modern handyman may have been a professional in a different trade. You know what I mean? He might have had a trade. He might have been a painter or a plumber or something like that. And then he wanted to do a little more. So he opened his own business and maybe used that trade as a specialty, but he also did other things, right? Or maybe it was somebody like me, more of a DIY guy turned professional, right? Because of a lot of training and a lot of studying. I think first things first, I think the modern day handyman has respect for all the different trades. So if you see somebody like me doing tile work, like I've studied tile, I got the TCNA handbook just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like I know, I've done enough of it. I know what I'm doing. If you see me doing plumbing work, I got it. You know what I mean? I got it for the things that I do and why I need to do it. I understand. I get what I'm doing. Like I'm saying, if I get it, if I'm gonna put in a new outlet or something like that, I got it. Like I said, I've studied it. I understand. I even say that, look, if all you know about electrical is the black wire goes to the black and the white goes to the white, then you probably don't want to be touching this stuff, because you're gonna open the box up and it's gonna look crazy and you're not gonna understand why the white wire is hot or something like that, and you're just gonna not be able to fix something, or you're gonna mess something up. Matter of fact, one of my earliest customers, man, they hired me because I get hired because a lot of guys get fired, right? I'm the cleanup guy, the finisher. That was the whole premise of my business, right? So I got a lot of stories of coming behind other contractors. But one of the first experiences I had, it was bad because the guy, I guess he said he knew how to do electrical, right? They were like, he put the ceiling fan in and none of the outlets worked. It's like, how do you How do you like stop all the outlets from working because you put in a ceiling fan? So that's crazy. That's crazy, right? But obviously he didn't know what he was doing, and then they got shook and started calling an electrician, and then they met me, and it was even funnier. It was even funnier because he came to pick up his tools. He left his tools there. He came to pick up his tools, and I was already working. Well, but another thing about the modern day handyman is they're absolute professionals, right? Like I said, they're just contractors that are hiring themselves to do most of the work. They're licensed, they're insured, they're not out here, getting paid under the table. And I still have that. I still get that all the time. Somebody could look up everything about me, find me on, Google, go to my website, schedule an appointment, look me up with the state, do all the things, and still approach me like, yeah, I got cash though. Yeah, what can we work out? Cause got that cash. And I'm just like, that's fine if you got cash, credit. My response is always, hey, well, I don't care. You got cash, credit. I mean, whatever you have is acceptable for me. So, checks, Venmo, whatever you want to do. And a lot of those guys end up like, oh, so nothing shady going on here, huh? Okay. Look, the reason why I go so hard on professionalism is one, because of the stigma that handymen have. It's like, you might think I go above and beyond. If I'm saying like, you're gonna do a drywall repair, you better repair it to perfection. Well, okay, there's circumstances for everything, right? That's a rule, right? There are exceptions to rules. But as a rule, I want everything to be perfected, but I don't really care who it is. It's not just for the handyman, but I go so hard because I am one of those people who dealt with a lot of people who were trash at their field. And it wasn't handymen. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the handyman that did the job. It was people in their respective fields. Like I think I told a story before about the guy put a mini split in and wired it backwards, fried the board. Like it's a brand new mini split, and told me, he got to buy a board. You got to buy a board on a new unit? What are we talking about? How do you cross those wires? I don't understand. Like, how do you cross the wires? I don't get that. Like, you're a professional, right? Had another guy that I needed my unit recharged, right? My outdoor unit. This is all years ago. And I'm not picking on HVAC guys. This is just what's coming to my mind right now. Had a guy come to recharge my unit. Told him, look, you're probably gonna need a lot of Freon because, it's probably really low because every year I gotta get a charge. Nobody knows where the leak is, and I'm not getting a new system right now. So, okay. So this guy comes in, he's gonna put new Freon in it. Well, he doesn't have enough. He runs out of Freon. Okay. He goes back to the yard or to go back to the shop, gets more Freon, comes back. Then he tries to charge me for the time he had to go get the material. Like, dude, you didn't bring enough material. Why is that on me? Why are you trying to charge me because you didn't come prepared? Crazy. Is that professional? Right? I had a refrigerator. Dude, I had a refrigerator where the compressor went up. The guys came, said, oh, we can't do the compressor work because we can't work in an open flame in your house, so we have to take it with us. It was a warranty. Y'all, anybody in the appliance repair know about them LG compressors, man. I was a victim of that, man. Mine went out like a year. It was like a year, man. But those things are notorious. But, well, the company took with them. I had a big box truck and everything. Last time I saw that refrigerator. It's crazy. It's just like I would call them. Like 2 weeks later, I called. Like, what's going on? Oh man, we got it in the shop right now. He just took it back there. We just been so busy. It's just we ain't been able to get to it. Okay. A week later, same thing. The store, JCPenney, had to end up giving me a new refrigerator. Dude, the company just stole my refrigerator. Is that professional? And I can go on and on and on. Every time I used to try to do work, I had a sliding glass door that I took out because I wanted to put a new sliding glass door in. I want the one with the blinds built in, man. We thought it was neat. Well, I go to take the old one off. There was no caulk, no tape, no nothing. Floor underneath it completely rotted out. So now I can't just pop in my new sliding glass door. Now I gotta fix a rotten floor because the professionals that installed it when the house was getting built didn't have a babysitter, I guess, and just did it wrong. They didn't just do it wrong. They just didn't care. They knew what they were supposed to do. It just didn't matter because nobody was looking. And I also used to work in construction. So I understand how a lot of these guys think out here with, You know what I mean? Oh, can't see it from my house. You know what I mean? With that mentality. That mess is so irritating for me. And it's because I was on both sides, man. I was a guy that was working. I was working. And man, you know, so you come over. This is why I think I told a story about my plumbing leaking under the sink and me not wanting to call anybody, right? And not fixing it right and then just putting a bucket under there because I didn't want to call anybody because I keep having these experiences every time I call somebody or I see something that I'm like, the pros have messed it up. Or, you know what I'm saying? So I understand. So I got into this field because I understand what it's like to get jobs done or have people come in your house and not be professional, right? So that's why I go so hard on professionalism. And because I got countless stories, and not just from me, from relatives, my own parents, you know what I'm saying, just all kind of people about the unprofessionalism out here in these trades, and it's nuts. I get it though. Sometimes customers, I'm gonna get on y'all one day too. This ain't, you know, but that ain't the conversation about today, because y'all be tripping too. But this conversation about on my end, on the professionals on my end, it's like people work too hard. It's too hard to save up money in America to just have some dude overcharging you thousands of dollars to do something, to do the wrong job or to destroy your house in the process or mess up other stuff, so you gotta get other things fixed because they didn't do it right, or you gotta call somebody, or you gotta call me, or you gotta call me because they didn't do it right. So now you paid them, now you gotta pay me too. It's just absurd, all right? So I'm just at the point where I don't care. I don't really care how people feel about it, right? I'm over it. Like, if you're gonna be the professional in your field, be the professional in your field. That's all I'm saying. If your job, you're gonna be a professional, your job is to go in people's houses and have respect for them, because a house is like the biggest purchase most people gonna ever make in their entire life. And then you go in and treat it like it's just your dumpster. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? So yes, I harp on professionalism because I just get sick and tired. I was on the receiving end so many times of bad work, and I just know so many people that have been. And now since I've been in it, and with the nature of my business, I come behind a lot of other contractors. It's disheartening. It's just disheartening, right? So yes, I'm that guy. I'm that guy that's gonna be out here like, look, we gotta step our game up. Right, so that's why I pushed the Handyman 2.0. That's why I go so hard on professionalism, man, because it's almost personal for me. So whatever, like how people feel about it, I really don't care. You'll see, you'll learn over time. For me and feelings is not really, there's not really a thing. We don't really go together. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know. But me and feelings don't really mix. So we got to do better, man. So we got to do better, and that's what we're doing here. So let me give you some tips. And I want everybody. I don't care if you're DIY, if you're out here doing this work every day, all day, if you're part-time doing it, if you're a customer watching this to figure out what kind of person you need to look for. I would love for people in the comments to put in the comments what they consider, things that they consider to be professional. I don't have all the answers. There might be things you might be particular about. I've heard people say stuff like somebody, a contractor that pulls up in the driveway and sits there for 10 minutes before they come in your house. That might be a problem for you. I'd love to y'all leave in the comments what you think constitutes a professional. So let's go over a few things that I think that helps to make you a professional. First things first, you should have whatever licenses, whatever training, a history of doing the job that you're promoting, right? Now, this is the trades, and this goes out to any customers too. This is the trades. There are no textbooks on your house specifically. So, there are ways to do jobs, but there are also going to be times when we're going to have to figure things out on the fly, because there's no manual for it. It's just you get to a situation, we're going to have to figure it out. I've ran into that plenty of times. So it just is what it is. But do you have the ability to figure it out because you've done enough training to understand what might come up? That's the first thing on the list. Don't be out here selling wolf tickets. I like that. That's that 90s talk. You gotta be clean, man. You can't go to nobody's house smelling like onions and peanut butter. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, they like to keep their houses clean. And I know, and the thing about the trades, we got a lot of smokers. We do. There's just a lot of smokers per the trade. And it's, you're outside, you're used to just being free. And it's a lot more people that smoke in this trade than others. But man, them days are coming to an end with just smoking around people's properties and walking in. And look, you're doing something wrong if you walk in the house and you greet the customers and then you go back to check whatever the issue is, and you come back and the whole family's looking like. That's a problem. Number 3, communication. You gotta be communicating with people, man. Like, you gotta make it as snappy as possible. As quick and as seamless. There are different levels of communication. Sometimes I overdo it, and maybe I'm compensating because earlier when I was in it, I had an issue with communication. I get caught up doing work here and doing the work there that I forget to call people sometimes, and because the phone would be ringing so much, I wouldn't get to text people back. One thing I did was I shrunk down the amount of services I offered, so it just wasn't so vast, and that actually brought the phone calls down a good enough that was manageable. And then on top of that, the communication also extends into what you gotta expect from this contractor. What you gonna expect from what should they expect from me? If I walk in, no, you don't sell a job that you can't do, or selling a dream or something like that. Selling wolf tickets. Shout out to E40 and the Click, man. I don't think they originated the term, man, but I remember when that song came out. When it comes to the job that you should know and be able to lay out exactly what needs to be done. I'm one of those people that goes into details that you don't even want to hear. I tell people all the time, if you're offering a premium service, then you need to explain why your service is premium. So if I'm doing a drywall repair and I'm gonna protect your house against dust and I'm gonna create a dust barrier, or I'm gonna use certain tools or whatever to do that, that's a premium service. I mean, it just in general costs me more to do the job. So you gotta, anytime you do that, you gotta explain all that to the customer. If I'm giving a premium service, best believe the customer's gonna know exactly why. I'm just saying, as a professional, that's your job, to communicate the scope of the job, every little detail of things that you're gonna be able to do, and do it. The last 2 things, I'll just bundle them together. You respect people's time, you respect people's property. Treat their property the way you would want others to treat yours, right? You would want somebody to come in your house with their mud all and snow all on their shoes and just walk through your living room. Is that what you would want? Would you want an appointment set for 12 o'clock and then somebody doesn't show up till 2:30? Would you want that? Or would you want, you got this week planned to do the job and for no real reason, they just pushed it back to next week, and you done already made the schedule, you done already took off work, you done that. Is that what you want as a professional? Things happen, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, if it does, that's the other part. It's when you really need to communicate and we need to get an understanding. But those need to be sticklers that, people's time and their houses are precious, man. Make sure your presentation is on point. You don't have to have a uniform, but it's cool if you do. But just make sure, like I said, you're clean and you do what you expected to do, and that you know how to do the job and you're thorough. Because to me, that's what a professional is. A professional is somebody that goes and takes care of the job in a manner that's a higher level than what people can do on their own. Otherwise, what are they paying you for? What are they paying you for? If it's gonna look like it did, if I'm a homeowner and you gonna do the job and it's gonna look like it did if I was gonna do it, or one of my kids did it, what am I paying you for? Cause you the pro? Cause you just got the title? Man, get out of here with all that. Step the game up. Let's step the actual idea of being the consummate professional out here and dealing with our customers on a day-to-day basis. It's time to step it up, man. And that's part of what this is. I keep telling y'all, this is Handyman 2.0. This is the next level. We're the pros over here. I don't care what profession you are. I don't care what trade you're in, what license you hold, what title you hold. It doesn't matter if you ain't doing the work right. So let's get out here, man, and make professional mean something, means what it's supposed to mean, colloquially speaking. All right? Daryl, also known as the finisher. Stay safe, be blessed, and remember, if the trades don't work, nothing else does.